Ladies and gentlemen, to keep things moving, we're going to begin our program. We'd like to honor our first inductee, who has a saying that is synonymous with jazz. Jazzically speaking, he says. And you know who that is. That man has kept jazz alive in our community for years and years now. Clay the Cooker Collins.
Clay the Cooker Collins is a native of Chicago, Illinois. He began his broadcasting career in Dayton in 1968 as a radio news reporter for WAVI and WDAO radio. He advanced to program and community relations director, where he was instrumental in the first Southwest Ohio fund drive for sickle cell anemia. The result was the largest amount of money ever raised for any purpose by a Dayton radio station in such a short time, over $19,000.
And through that same program, they also made it possible for kids to go through to summer camp who couldn't go before, couldn't afford to go.
Clay Collins was a community-minded person, as he is today. He made sure that many of the organizations like Sickle Cell and others had the funding that they needed to move forward and do what needs to be done in the community, thanks to guys like Clay Collins. And that is one of the reasons why we feel that he should be inducted into the Dayton Area Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Clay.
Clay is known for his love of jazz music, and that's why it is not surprising that it led to his own weekly program on WAVI, WDAO called Jazzistically Speaking. It aired weekly and had one of the largest listening audiences on the stations. It was so successful that it ran from 1969 through 1973, when Clay left the station to join WING Radio as a sales executive. It wasn't long after that Clay was asked to continue his jazz show on WING, and it ran through 1983.
I've been listening to music probably from the crib. There's always been music in our house. He's always been DJing, doing jazz, and I've always been so proud. You know, I can turn on the radio every Sunday, and I can listen to my dad. And I know I've had people walk up and, you know, had some people talk to me, and then we get to talking about music, and then I mention my dad's name. They're like, Clay the Cooker? Yeah, I know who he is. I'm like, everybody knows who he is.
My dad, Clay the Cooker Collins, came to work for Big Ray Meadows, program director at the time for WDAO, in September 23rd, 1968. Dad used to work for a radio station up in Skokie, Illinois, near Chicago, WRSV-FM. And when he met Big Ray, he came down here, and Big Ray told him he needed a newsman. And Dad said, well, what happened to the DJ job that we talked about? And Big Ray said, well, Clay, I need a newsman. Just take my advice, take the job, and we'll go from there. So my dad took his advice and became the newsman for WDAO. That turned into Spinning Soul on Saturday, which led to Cooking with Jazz in January 1969.
Definitely worked several jobs. You know, they saw the on-air thing, but what they didn't see was some of the behind-the-scenes things where he worked in sales. He had to work in sales and other things like that. The on-air thing was really a small part of the total job that he had to do for the radio station.
Clay's formal education is Wilson College, Central State University, and Columbus Communications College. In 1983, Clay joined Stoner Broadcasting, American Radio Systems, as a sales executive, and soon began hosting a jazz program there and at Central State University. Clay is presently working at Clear Channel as a sales executive and still finding time to get behind the microphone with his jazz show. Clay the Cooker Collins, as he is affectionately known, has left his mark on the broadcast industry, especially in the promotion of jazz, pop, soul, blues, and urban big bands. He's one of a kind.
It made me proud that, people knew my dad. And if they listened to jazz, they knew who Clay the Cooker Collins was in Dayton, Ohio.
And it's been with great pride, I can say. And he's taken his children along for the ride as well. I've met some really wonderful people and had some amazing opportunities that I would have never had.
I think it is the pinnacle of all the work he's put in for all these years, and I think it's very well deserved.
The Dayton Area Broadcasters Hall of Fame is pleased to induct Clay the Cougar Collins into its 2007 class.
Yeah. Clay Collins, who has given a lot, as we know, had it not been for Clay Collins in the early years, as I looked at all the reports, the sickle cell anemia and other kinds of fundraising ideas that came about at WDAO in the early days. Thank you very much, Clay, for raising tens of thousands of dollars to make sure that the program got off to a good start and doing well today. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You gonna hold? Am I supposed to do my speech now?
In 1970, Big Ray moved on to bigger and better things, and I had moved up to being the music director. And then from the music director, I went to become the program director and the community relations director. Then I hired a young man out of high school, whose name was Ricky Smith, and I wanted him to help me with my work with the youth that we were sending to summer camp. He was in that same age bracket, so he could relate to him. He also was a disc jockey for us, and we did that thing and had a lot of fun with that. Since then, I've moved on to bigger and better things, working with Clear Channel Radio, and we are working with them since March the 1st, 2004, and currently working with them on Sunday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday, once again, with Jazzistically Speaking.
People keep asking about the hat. The hat always goes with any station function that I'm at, and that's the way it is. But we had a lot of fun, and we got to do a lot of things, and we did total raising of $25,000 that time for the sickle cell anemia. And it was a lot of fun, and we got the job done. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it.